Okay, as I was just talking about, I've gone over this concept before, but what we are going over today is open high-low closes. So you guys may be wondering, what in the world is he talking about? What even is that? Essentially, open high-low close is the 4-hour candle. Basically, what we've talked about the 4-hour candle before. What is an open high-low close? Well, it's very simple. It's essentially when a candle opens up. So let's say this is the open price. Okay, so the candle's here. When a candle opens up, there's only literally two things it can do. It can go down first, create then a wick, and now we have this wick here, and then it can go back up. Or it can do the exact opposite, right? It can go up first, and then go down and create that up wick, right? So it's literally only two things it can do, but at all times, every candle should at least look like this. We can all agree on this. Every candle should have a wick to the upside, downside, and then have the body, correct? Okay, well, how can you use this in your trading? Well, this is how I used it today. And let me go ahead and get my drawings back. How did I use this today? Hold on. Okay, boom. Okay, so today, I'm going to go over why I took this trade later today after this class. But essentially, how I used this today was, let's go ahead and pull up the 5-minute. So let me go and zoom out here. And let's go on over to the 5-minute here. Where is it? I think it was this candle. Don't think it was this candle. But essentially, there's a lot of ways you can use it. Essentially, when we came into this, right, it was only 9:55 when I entered. Okay, so usually I don't enter at this time. Like, usually this is not a good time to enter, but it was such a clean setup, I realized like there was no point not to. So as we see, it's about 9:53 right now. And essentially what I am saying is, okay, I'm assuming the 10 o'clock candle is about to open up here. What do we have to do? Okay, boom. 10 o'clock opens up here. Okay, yes, usually I want to see it go down before going up. So I was a little nervous here. But what do we see is happened, right? Off rip, we already created the wick to the upside as well, and now we're just in the body. So there's literally only now just, again, two directions we can go. We can either go up, create a higher wick, or we can go down, creating a lower wick. So when we initially made this, I initially just wanted to see this run without it going into 10 a.m. But now that we're in the 10 a.m., all I have to know is essentially, okay, as long as we don't wick down, take me out at break even if we wick below this, I'm still going to be confident that then we're going to run higher. What do we do in exactly that? Well, okay, it looks like we're going to run higher, but now we kind of have this clear wick down here. At this point, I'm assuming, okay, we're probably going to take this wick out. Boom. As we do, we create a new wick, and then what do we see happens? It runs all the way. Oh, well, actually, no, it creates another wick. From this point, I was actually a little nervous. I was scared that we were going to run this, and then I felt like my entry point was just like where a lot of orders were resting, so I was a little scared there were going to be a lot of people in this, and it was just going to get taken out. But at this point, say if you wanted to enter right here, yes, you're maybe looking for like a break-even point or something. This is a perfect point, because what can you do? You can enter right here, and you could say, okay, you could even literally just target this. But you would also probably just want to target this, right? You could just take a very easy trade right here. Say I'm going break even here and taking this here. And what are we going to see that happens? Boom, boom. Within two candles, it takes out that high and that other high. So that's kind of how, I've talked about the 10 a.m. candle power through before. That is essentially this concept. But this concept goes even deeper. For example, let's say we are trending price. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. And right here is when a new 15-minute candle opened. So let's go ahead and mark this out. Let's say we took out some liquidity right here, right? Okay, and then the 15-minute chart is over here. Let's just say that's an M, right? Okay. So the 15-minute chart's here. As I said, the 15-minute candle opened right here. So let's say the 15-minute candle, we have one candle. Looks good. And then we have one candle that literally is just this, okay? What can I assume? Well, I can assume if we still have maybe like 10 minutes left in this candle, after we see that the lower time frame has taken out the area of liquidity, what can I assume for out of this candle? Well, if we also have like a target down here, I can assume that this 15-minute candle will eventually flip and put in this wick. At some point, this candle is going to flip. and we're gonna get the wick out of this. So what would that look like on both time frames? Well, essentially, as I said, we have the open. This obviously candled up, but now price is trickling back down, and we see it rolling all the way down. This would now just be one wick, and the price would eventually flip, and now we get to put in that wick and then possibly wick into this and then start chopping around in the body. That is essentially how you can use it on the 15 minute. You can use it on the 5 minute. You can use it on the 1 minute. You can use it on all the time frames. And that's essentially the best, but like the best way of going about it is using it on the 4 hour, as I said, where you get the 4 hour kind of PO3 like I talked about, right? Where we're kind of chopping. We have a target here, and the 10 o'clock candle is coming in now, but maybe we haven't taken out some liquidity or we haven't gone through manipulation. You could say 10 o'clock candle opens here. I want to see price trickle down, take out maybe this, take out this, and then now we have that massive wick in the candle, but we don't have a wick to the upside, so I now want to see price trickle on up and push through this and make a wick, and now we have that whole candle. So that's how essentially you use open, high, low closes, but it gets even deeper. But for now, I want you guys, just whenever you're on the charts, be looking at the 5 minute and 15 minute. If we're coming into the 5 minute, like say we're in a trade, and we just entered here, right? We just entered on a trade. We're targeting maybe something all the way up here. We see price kind of like it's rocketing, but then it's starting to slow down a good bit. And now at this point, maybe the 15 minute, remember how I talked about time alignment where the 15 minute, 5 minute, they make new candles and you need to be aware of that. That's essentially this, right? If price is slowing down, and maybe this is like a key area of where a bunch of people got filled on orders, you can most likely assume, not all the time, and again, I always say once you're in a position, just let the position ride, especially if you're break even. Do not ever like take your position out early because you can get lucky, or not really lucky, but price can just keep running. So there's no need for you to like exit a position. But if you're like if price is slowing down and you see maybe a 5 and 15 minute has just opened up, you can at least assume that these orders right here will be taken out and we'll put in that wick, and then now that body will start to run and hopefully kind of take you out and hit your TP. But obviously it can be the other way around where now price has opened up, maybe it's gone a little bit higher, taken out these orders, put in a wick, and now we're just kind of skyrocketing lower to take out these orders. But then obviously it can then kind of like reverse, and now we can take out the orders to the upside. So and then I would say if you're in this trade here, right, and you're about to enter and the 5 minute and 15 minute is just now closing and we're creating a new one, please, for the love of God, do not enter on this, because if the 15 minute and 5 minute are just now opening up, you guys have heard me talk about this concept before. If we want it to go up, you actually want to see the 15 and 5 minute most likely go down first. Obviously, if you're in a trade, you're not going to want to see that, but the 15 and 5 minute are opening up, you actually want to see price go here to put in that wick, and then you want to see price go up and put in that candle body and catch that body. You do not want to be part of that wick. So if you're about to enter but then you see the 5 minute, 15 minute are opening up, just give it like a minute. Give it a minute and a half, and just see if price will trickle down first to put in that wick, as I said, and then try and catch the move right here if you can, all the way to the upside after the wick has already been put in. Because if you're trying to predetermine catch the wick, there's a lot of times, like if you guys look here, for example, this is the 5 minute. Yes, there are times where the wick is not very important and we just run higher. But look at this, for example, right? This candle right here, it's kind of hard to tell this 5 minute played out, but what do we see happens? Before taking out this high, we most likely took out this low and then we pushed higher. Let's actually see if we can look at that on the screen here. So yeah, okay, that would have been, okay, yeah, so for example, this whole 5 minute, this was a whole 5 minute right here. This was that candle that I was just talking about. Well, where's the low on that candle? Okay, so it doesn't look as prominent. It's because I'm on replay, so yeah, it actually doesn't look too good. But essentially, this is like the 5 minute right here. It actually runs higher first and then takes out the low. But again, if you were trying to catch a move to the upside and maybe you entered like here and you're maybe not looking for that move, right? You're looking for something all the way up here, and maybe your stop was like a little bit tighter, like if I was running the 50. What do we see happens? Well, we take out this high, and then again, as I said, the algorithm works. It then takes out that high, takes out more orders to downside, and then pushes up and completely forgets about you in the entry, and eventually you maybe would have hit TP. So again, that's kind of just how you use the open high-low closes, and what you should be looking for whenever taking your trades is understanding, okay, are we coming into the 10 a.m. power of 3? Are we coming, like, how are we opening up? Are we opening up on the 5-minute? Is a new candle about to open up? The same with the 15-minute. Are we about to open up on a new 15-minute candle? And even if you don't have the 5-minute, 15-minute pulled up, you can just look in the time right here, right? If you have the time pulled up, just know if we're coming into 16:20, okay, I know for sure a new 5-minute candle is about to open up. But if we're coming into 16:30, then I know a new 50-minute candle is coming up. Or if we're going into 16:15, right? A 5-minute or a 15-minute and 5-minute just opened up 3 minutes ago. So those are all things that you have to be aware of and understand within your trading. But again, the whole concept is essentially the open high-low close concept is just basing on that every candle will open up, every candle will put in a candle to one side, and then it will reverse and put in that body to the other side, and vice versa. Do you guys have any questions on that so far? No. Okay, perfect. No. Perfect. Yeah, it's a very simple concept, but I think that's something that I just have to exaggerate just because I use it so much. And I know I've talked about it before, and I didn't mean to talk about it really before, but it is just something that's so important to understand, that the 5-minute, 15-minute are like so important when you're going into a trade, because there's so many times early on in my trading where I would enter right before a 5-minute or 15-minute candle opened up, and then the 5-minute or 15-minute will just put in that wick, take me out, and then run without me because I waited a little too, or I tried to enter a little too early. But with that being said, if you guys don't have any questions, I'm gonna basically just go over my trade, why I took it, and go in depth, because I know a lot of people were saying, this one dude, his name's Max, he's in the group, but he was saying, glad I joined the one-on-one. NQ, did you join the one-on-one, NQ Milan? But Max was saying he was questioning why I took my trade, and what I was doing, so I'm gonna get in further into that. Missed the whole thing. Don't worry about it, Rat. It'll all be recorded, so no worries. Wait, NQ, what's your, are you Dawn by chance? Okay, sweet. Again, if you guys, like, if you're a one-on-one student, it's just kind of up to you to schedule. I'm going to be busy the rest of the day, but it's just kind of completely up to you just to kind of get the scheduling down, and kind of just hit me up, because I'm free. As long as you just hit me in the morning, we can figure something out. But all right, with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and hop into essentially just like why I took this trade today, and essentially my thought process behind it, because I know, as I said, Max was like, bro, is that even your model? But yes, it is, and I'm gonna go into why that is. So essentially, yes, I didn't enter off a CISD. I know I talk about CISDs a lot, and I really want to see CISDs very often. But let me go ahead and show you guys the playbook. You guys have seen the playbook before, but let me just show you it again. Oh, I think I just got... Wait, can you also hear me? Just got booted from Discord for a second. All right, look at the playbook, right? This is the playbook. Yes, all of these have CISDs, but look at this one. This one doesn't have a CISD. Obviously, these three all have CISDs, but technically this is not a CISD within the whole range. Yes, it is a CISD within the small range, but if you think bigger picture, it's still not. But it still is at the same time. But the main point is just looking at how the fair value gaps are, right? So how are the fair value gaps looking in this? Well, we're creating a fair value gap, rejecting, and then inversing. Creating a fair value gap, rejecting, creating a fair value gap, rejecting. Inversing or rejecting off of fair value gap, and then inversing both those gaps at the same time, and then inversing a gap, then rejecting off of fair value gap and pushing higher. That's essentially how I kind of traded today. I don't know if you guys saw on social media, but a lot of people actually struggled with today's price action, which honestly surprised me. I thought today's setup was about an A setup. I wouldn't say it was A++ because we didn't get the CISD, but I would say it was definitely an A setup. Someone had DM me like, bro, aren't you worried about this fair value gap? And to be honest with you, not at all. And let me show you guys why. Okay, so if we go back to the 1 minute, okay, today I was more on the 1 minute time frame. I was mainly looking kind of at what we were doing on the 1 minute just to get the broader picture. And I want you guys to look at this, right? Okay, on the 1 minute time frame, what do? We inverse this gap at this candle. So keep this candle in mind. We're going to go ahead and mark this candle out. On the 1 minute time frame, we inverse this candle. From here, I'm like, okay, I do kind of like that we swept out all this liquidity. All this liquidity here got all swept. Yes, we didn't sweep Asian lows, but I did like that we swept all of this, and it seemed like once we got to this point, we rejected pretty hard. I've talked about the V-shaped recovery, and so is Dodgy. The V-shaped recovery is essentially once we kind of take out something and then immediately just push back through, right? And we get a nice inverse. That's exactly what we got right here. And then I was like, okay, let me get even a broader picture. Let me go to the 2 minute. What do we have on the 2 minute as well? An inverse gap. Okay, so not only on the 1 minute, but and on the 2 minute, I see that we inversed a gap. So that's telling me this is pretty strong. This is a pretty good like push back up. This is a pretty good sign of what we're doing. So now let me drop all the way back down to the 30 second. What do we have on the 30 second? Well, as I said, this is the 1 minute candle that we marked out. What do we then have? Okay, we have a gap right here, and then obviously a huge gap here. This gap I really wasn't worried about. I did not worry about this gap as much because I liked this gap. I liked how we immediately kind of tapped into this bigger gap, because whenever you're given a situation where we have two gaps, right? Say we have like a small one here and then a bigger one here, always go with the bigger one. See how we react off the bigger one. I talked about that before early on in the boot camp, but always go off the bigger gap because the smaller gap really doesn't mean too much. So what do we have? Does this not look like a playbook entry? Okay, we inverse a gap, create a gap here, and we immediately reject off that gap. And then going even further, what do we get? We get we have another gap here. Okay, this is a gap within the price, right? So within the leg down, so we have the inverse within the leg down, rejecting off of the gap. We also create another gap that we inverse on. As soon as we got that on the 30 second, I was in. I entered immediately. I think I got my fill like maybe right here. As soon as we got that, I entered. And what do we see within the literal next candle? As soon as I entered, it just explodes. It explodes and immediately pushes out. So from this candle, I did expect us to kind of just push higher. I did not expect us to chop how we did. And when we chopped, I was a little scared because I did think that was an amazing entry point. I did think a lot of people entered there, but obviously not really too many people entered. So I was a little scared that it was going to do something like this, where we just push up, then push down, take out the orders, and then just run. But obviously, as you guys saw, I wouldn't say I got lucky, but it kind of just, the draw was so obvious. The buyers were in control, and we kind of just kept pushing higher and higher. And so that was kind of the trade, right? Yes, if this candle broke through this gap, inverse this gap, and got a CISD, I was entering either way. I'm in on that either way. But since we didn't get that, I would mark this as an A trade. I still think this was an amazing trade. But if we had gotten the CISD and we had gotten we also, to add, yes, as I spoke yesterday, we didn't really have an SMT, but ES was just pushing higher. ES was just going up, and we started creating equal highs. We had all sorts of targets up here. That was another confluence for me. So yes, that's not really called an SMT, but in my case, I just call it another confluence. That the ES wants to go higher, NQ's looking like he wants to go higher. So that's why I give it an A. But if we got the CISD out of this, then this trade would be an A+ trade. This would be the perfect setup. This is everything I'm looking for, and this would have been all I needed. But obviously, we didn't get the CISD, but I still took it because I knew that this was going to be a good trade, and I was willing to essentially bet that this was going to be a trade that would do pretty well, or at least get me break even, and that's exactly what happened today. Would it be a trade right after the push up a CISD, like before the retrace? Are you talking about this trade right here? No. This one right here? Yes. Okay. So yeah, you could take that, but since we were in a 1 minute and 2 minute gap, look at where that candle is. So if you waited for the 2 minute, yes, you could have just entered on that, but that's essentially the same entry that I got. So I waited. I went all the way down to the 30 second, essentially, because if you entered right here, you would have gotten some drawdown. You would have been like, oh shoot, are we going to inverse this gap? Like, I don't know what's going to happen. So I would just wait until, because as well, right, if it, like, yes, on the 30-second this is a CISD, but look on the 1 minute, we're tapping into this 1 minute gap. We could so easily just in the next minute reject out of that 1 minute gap and then push towards London lows. Very easily that could happen. So I'm waiting for full confirmation, and my full confirmation was wait for the 1 minute to inverse, which we get right here, then wait for the retrace. After I see a huge 30-second gap, wait for that retrace. Now, if we'd gotten the retrace and didn't get this little inverse gap, then I would have maybe waited, okay? I would have been like, okay, we could push higher. From that point, then I want the CISD. But since we got that little inverse, that was all I needed to see to enter. And as you guys see, it was an amazing trade. But yeah, I mean, either way, if we had then gotten the CISD out of this, I'm still taking the same exact trade. Yeah, the 30-second is just insane because, like, if you look at the 1 minute, like, the 1 minute's still good, like, but you just, like, if you're entering on the candle close, you would have been entering all the way up here, and that would just not be a good trade. That's why the 30-second is just so insane, because I'm able to enter on half of this candle when we get that inverse. You wouldn't have been able to know or see that inverse, and that would have been an amazing trade. No, you got to pay for the 30-second. Oh, wait. Yeah, it's the premium. It's pretty expensive, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, that's essentially why I took that trade today, and my thinking behind that. And I mean, just with fair value gaps alone, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you know how to do inverse and regular fair value gaps, you can trade literally just off of that. You don't need any other confluence. Literally just off of this sequence, you could have had an amazing trade and been perfectly fine. Y'all got any other questions on that trade? Yeah, in my opinion, if you master the 1 minute, then it's just so insane. Bruh, can you clear the IFEG CISD one more time? What do you mean clear? Oh, yeah, this setup was very clean. Just people, because I mean, I take a lot of my trades. I'd say 95% of my trades are on CSDs. But if you get a thing like, if you get something like this, you just, like, it's hard to mess up on a setup like this. Like, I'm not going to wait for one confluence. I have 5 other confluences in my trading setup that I can look for, and one confluence can take a bullet, essentially. But again, you do want to wait mainly for those A+ setups. But I mean, if you get something like this, I mean, if you have that intuition, you just kind of know when you get. I mean, this is three fair value gaps all going in the direction that I wanted it to. That is like, that's 3 confluence already alone. And then obviously you add the sweep of liquidity, and then like at ES going in the same direction. That's 5 confluences right there. Yeah, definitely market experience, but I mean, you can pick up on it really fast. I think anytime you have anything more than like 4 to 5 confluences, that's all you need, realistically, for a trade. I mean, if I had then a CISD on top of that and a proper SMT, that's now 7 confluences on one trade. Like, that's about as best as you can get. But I will gladly bet on 5 confluences still. 5 confluences is still very, very good, and you can still make amazing trades off that. You guys got any more questions on that? No? No. Alright, boys. Mr. Grippo, what's up, dude? Just explaining the trade. The trade of the day. How'd you do today, Gabe? First L in 2 weeks, damn. Bro, so many people took L's today. I think this was like the only good setup of the day. Damn, that sucks. Ripping the chat. It's fine, bro. Like, I've been taking L's quite often, and then the one day everyone else takes L's, I absolutely smash. I did see a video, though, about Dodgy talking about how if you're new to trading, or just even if you've been trading the past, like just all of August has been awful. Like it's genuinely like if you can hold through August, then you've been pretty good. But like it's been super discouraging to a lot of people, and I agree so much on that. I think August has been by far one of the worst months of 2025 in my opinion. And I've had obviously the worst month of the whole year, so it is what it is. Three alphas, nice. Gabe, do you know I made 1,400 on my fun of futures yesterday, and then today I made 1,600. Am I gonna get screwed over, or will they round up for me? Because it's minimum 2 trading days. 1,550 might be cooked. Let's go. Let me go check how much I made. Let me go log into these accounts right now. So I could lose $50 right now. Yeah, I made 1610 today. Yeah, on both. Should I just lose like? Oh yeah, you guys better just watch me lose like $50. I can't trade. Oh my goodness, bro. Alright, well then we're just gonna have to see what happens. I feel like they might round for me. Yeah, I feel like they close them at 4 on the dot actually. Alright, well fingers crossed they round for me. We'll have to see. Rip in the chat if not. My buy-in for poker tonight, $8. Yeah, I mean, if I go over, I'll just have to trade another day. It's not the end of the world. Hopefully, they don't make me make like crazy amount. All right, Deuces Malone. Take another payout Friday. Let's go, Gabe. Good way to start college, bro. Birthday payout? All right, yeah, he's the GOAT. That's so sick. All right, boys. Well, that'll probably be it there. Gabe, good for you, bro. Proud of you. I'll see everyone tomorrow morning, and best of luck tonight. I hope everyone has a good rest of their day, and I will just see you guys tomorrow. Just everyone.